And it says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same spirit, right? So it's still the Most High giving these things to us through Yahweh Shai, through the Messiah, right? Right? And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord, right? And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. So different brothers are going to have different skills through these times, right? And it's beginning to shine. Everything is just like how the Messiah said that the kingdom is likened unto a woman that leaves bread to be risen and leavened up over time. That's what's going on, right? These spiritual abilities are being risen up, right? I remember talking to a brother where I was saying everybody's being manifest into their spiritual self or who they really are, right? Just on the inverse for the world, right? The people, that's why it says love is going to begin to wax cold, because people is going to be becoming the demons that they are, right? And the ones that are truly on the side of the Messiah, the true sheep, the true flock, are going to begin to become who they really are, right? Kings are becoming kings again. The priests are becoming priests again. Prophets are becoming prophets again. And all the spirits that we have are beginning to be leavened up within us. All right? They're rising up, right? So let's go. And it says, for to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. And remember, the beginning we were talking about, he's a rewarder to those that seek him, right? He's a rewarder to those who seek him. And it's not going to be the treasures of the world that save you in this time. It's not going to be the treasures of this world. Like, yes, is it wise? Is it prudent to have, some cases of water, in case it goes down, whatever? Is it wise or prudent to have a go bag? Yes, it's always wise. Prepare for nothing, then be unprepared for something, right? But that's not going to be what saves us. All right. If you look at all these movies, if you look at like Bird Box, Leave the World Behind, it was another movie, I forget where it was. It was all them type of movies where it's just sudden calamity. People are going about their daily life. Some people coming from the gym, some people on their way to work, going to work. Some people are just going about their daily life. Oh, I was on my way to my girl crib. Or I was on my way to the gym. Or I was on my way to go get me a bag of chips real quick. And then boom, it's just like that. So that bunker or all that stuff you had saved up is not going to be what saved you. This is what's going to save you. For one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, right? So that's going to be what's saving us in these times, right? And I think it goes on to talk about prophecy. Let me turn, right? Oh yeah. So it says, to another the working of miracles, right? And it's going to be some crazy stuff that we see in these times to come, man. It's going to be some crazy stuff, man. When I'm telling you the dead is going to be risen in front of some of y'all, man. When I'm telling you, you're going to see the lame walk again, right? And it says, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, and to another diverse kinds of tongues, and to another the interpretation of tongues. That's what's going to be saving us in these times. The fruits and the powers and the miracles of the Spirit is going to be what's saving us through these times. All right? That's what's going to be saving us. Prophecy, meaning we can know what's going to happen before it happens. And it's going to get more close. It's going to get more intense. Just like the bad is going to get more intense, the good is going to get more intense. Like we talk about with these birth pains, right? We're in the birth of a new world to come. Remember, it says Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of the one that followeth, right? So with this to come, what's going to be happening? With these birth pains, when a woman is having a child, the contractions, they start off in the early pregnancy, she might not have no contractions, all right? So that's the old silence that the book is talking about, right? It didn't seem like nothing was going on. Everybody was still and silent. There wasn't a bit of truth out here. Okay, then boom. Now it's starting to be a rising up. Then next thing you know, it's catastrophes around the world. But look, with a pregnant woman, the contractions or the birth pains, they get harder and more frequent. So as it go on, they get more frequent and they happen harder. It's more intense. The closer she is to having that baby, the more it becomes unbearable. And that's why the Most High said, lest those days be shortened, no flesh shall be saved, but it's going to be, the days will be shortened for the elect's sake. The days will be shortened for the elect's sake, because these birth pains are going to be so intense. The famine, the pestilence, the earthquakes in diverse places, the wars and rumors of wars are going to get so intense that it's going to be unbearable, right? Just like what I was just talking about Thailand, right? Where we see 10,000 people drop out at once, right? We're going to start seeing it by the hundreds of thousands, by the millions. And on the other side, on the inverse, you're going to see the prophets, they're going to be rising people up. They're going to be doing miracles, glorifying the name of the Father, man. So those who will be saved, that's why this is really all, even in the book of Esdras, where he's saying, wait upon me for my mercy, right? Because all of this is mercy. Even in the times that come, it's going to be mercy. It's all just mercy being shown unto people, right? Because when these miracles start to play out in front of us, right, those that deny, it's going to become very clear cut who they are in the spirit. That's why, back to this verse, to another prophecy. So some people going to have the spirit to prophesy, see things before it's going to happen. Most High might give them a dream the night before. The Most High might stop them in their tracks and give them a vision like, no, don't go this way. No, don't get in this car. No, don't go with them, right? And it says to another, discerning of spirits. Discerning of spirits. That's a very important quality that's essential right now, and it's going to be even more important during the times of tribulation, man. Right? That's why John, through the Holy Spirit, saying test every spirit to see if they come from God. Right? Because we need to know whether this spirit is coming from the Father or not. Because if it's not from this Father, then it's from Satan, bro. You get what I'm saying? And it says, and another diverse kinds of tongues, so understanding different languages. All this stuff is going to begin to be manifest again, man. All this stuff is going to begin to manifest again. All right? So where we at? Y'all tell me if we any better with the visuals now. Because if not, I don't know, I might just turn it this way. Let's see. Y'all tell me if anything changed with the visuals, like a thumbs up or a 1 or something. But gladly, y'all can hear me, man. So let's see. We're gonna go to James. Where's James at? If I can find it. Y'all know James a little small, but could be hiding sometimes. Bear with me, y'all. I don't even think I can find that right now. Husky book. All right. So James, where it's saying your riches are corrupted, right? All right. It says your riches are corrupted, right? And your garments are moth-eaten, right? So it's showing to not trust in these riches. That's the overall, right? That's overall, we not trusting in these riches, all right? And even for brothers and sisters who might have it right now, it doesn't mean the Most High is against you, right? It doesn't mean the Most High is against you. You know what I mean? He might be blessing you right now to have your finances in order and be doing a little good for yourself. You might have a little nice car. The whole point is to not trust it. Remember, when the Messiah was walking the earth, they were judging him because he was dealing with the what did they call them? The publicans, the tax collectors, right? Which had money. He was dealing with the rich Pharisees, the chief of the Pharisees. The people would judge him. Oh, he's dealing with them. right? But we're talking about the spirit. Remember, it says that God careth for the small and great alike, right? So he's talking about the poor in spirit. Overall, he's talking about the poor in spirit. Are you meek in the spirit? Are you lowly in the spirit? Right? Are you letting these things that you have attached to you puff you up? Are you letting that think that you're better than the next? Because best believe that these things don't make you better than the next. Best believe that it's going to be people sleeping on the street right now that are going to be having light shining through their face in these times to come. Right? All right. So let's talk about, let's go to, yeah, we're going to go to 2 Corinthians. Here we go. So we got 2 Corinthians 4:18, right? And it says, now I'm gonna start 17. And it says, for our light affliction, which is for but for a moment, worketh for us, oh my, it worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, man. I'm glad I started right there, right? It worketh for us. Remember, we still talking about building up this spiritual credit. We're building up credit for this lender, with our lender, the one who's given. Even though the Most High doesn't, man, when he gives you something, he's not intending to take it back. So we're going to call him a giver for right now. But, you know, the spirit can be removed off of you. You know, when you look at Saul, people like that, right? But it says it worketh for us a far more exceeding. That's where you get the grace. Mercy is not getting what you do deserve, meaning that technically with us all being sinners in this flesh, according to the old letter, we should be dead already. A lot of us should have got stoned. A lot of us should have been out of here, right? But so that's mercy, that we're not struck down immediately, but the grace is getting the things that we don't deserve. It's receiving things that we don't deserve. That's the grace. So it says, so the little things that we're doing right here, right now, right? You could be on your last dollar, but you gave it away. Trusting, remember, Hebrews saying that he's a rewarder of those that diligently seek him, and believing that he's a rewarder to those that seek him, right? Believing. So you know that if you give your last, then that's nothing. Remember, I think it's in Proverbs where it says it's an easy thing to the Lord to make a poor man rich. Easy, nothing, snap of a finger. So you giving your last when you're on your last dollar, don't even think of it as your last. Because I have trust and faith in the Most High that he will reward me, right? He'll reward me for this. Just like when you look at David, right? When you look at David, when some random man on the byway was cursing him. Oh, David, you're a murderer, you killer, you this and that, it's so much, da-da-da-da, right? All this is wrong with you, David. But he said, and one of David's servants was saying, who is this to talk to you like that? Let me chop his head off, right? But David said, no, leave him. Hopefully the Most High sees this and rewards me for dealing with this, right? Hopefully the Most High sees this and rewards me for dealing with this, right? And going back to Yahushua, when he said, if a man smite you on the right cheek, turn the other one to him also. Because trust and believe, the Most High sees this. Remember, I know your poverty, but you are rich. I know thy poverty, right? But you're rich. Because a lot of us, we're poor in the flesh and poor, I want to word it different, but poor in the spirit. I want to say poor in the spirit because we're rich in the spirit for real. I want to say lowly in the spirit. Remember, the earth, the meek will inherit the kingdom. The meek. You have a meek spirit, a humble spirit, right? You know how much humility it takes to have people saying stuff and not always and know that it doesn't warrant a response? But it's another side of it. You're not just tolerating it for no reason. You have to know that you will be rewarded. Trust is a big part of this thing, man. Trust is a big part of this thing. If you think that you're going through stuff for no reason, then it defeats the purpose. All right? Because best believe there's a purpose for all of this. Everybody will be rewarded. Remember when they had the Messiah in shackles. And, you know, they're smiting him and all that. No. It was it before? I think it was when they were just taking him in custody, right? And you know, was it Peter? And he's like, shall we smite with the sword? And he's like, don't you think that I can have a legion of angels to shut all this down right now? That's the Son of God right there. He said I could have a legion of angels to shut this whole thing down right now, slaughter everybody on the spot, right? And that's just one of the many temptations that he had to shut down and defeat in the flesh, man. That's one of the many temptations that he had to shut down and defeat in his flesh. Because that's hard. That's hard to have people talk crazy, even dealing with these other nations and how they treat us. Us being a proverb and a reproach, right? Us being a proverb and a reproach. When we know that, and that's basically what the whole book of Second Esdras is about, right? Second Esdras is like, yo, you didn't give these Gentiles the commandment. You didn't give them the blessings. They're not the ones who received the letter. They're not the ones who miracles were worked through. But you got them dominating over us, right? But the whole point is that even knowing that you're better, you don't act like it. Or no, I won't say you don't act like it, but you won't move in a prideful spirit. You know what I mean? So, what was I at? 2 Corinthians? Yeah, all right, boom. That's good. So we got 2 Corinthians, we got 4 and 6, right? And it says, for God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness and has shined in our hearts, right? To give light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? But look, it says, but we have this treasure in earthly vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not be of us. And that's bringing it back to the original. Like, it's all about glorifying the Father, man. A lot of us should be just simply blessed for being a mouthpiece for the Father, being used to do his will, and because for real, everybody is being used to do the will, whether it's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Even when you look at the other nations, they're only doing the Most High's will. But the reason he's using them, all he's doing is using their heart, the nature of their heart, and using them for their will, right? See, Pharaoh, he was already stubborn. He was already a man of pride. He already trusted in his riches, right? But guess what? He said, he said, I'm going to send Moses to him and he's going to harden his heart. His heart was already hard. You get what I'm saying? So just like when it says, and I forget what book, where it says they were given to diverse lusts for the lust that was already in their heart, right? So all I'm going to do is turn it up a notch so you can be used for it. Just like these other nations are only used as what you could call a belt, a whipping tool for us to get right, right? We just got to deal with this for the time being because we got to get right. In the spirit, we've transgressed. All right, so now that's why Ecclesiastes is saying, I've seen princes on the ground as servants and servants upon horses as princes, man. That's why you seeing all these other nations, they got the big mansions, right? They got the big mansions, the newest car. You know what I mean? They don't even got to pay for the newest car. They got a 2025 before it's even 2025. You know what I mean? Horses is really a representation of like a carriage or a vessel, right? So it's saying y'all are not there. Remember, it says, I've seen princes on the ground as servants, but that doesn't mean that you're a servant. That's why I think it's Jeremiah. It says, is Jacob spoiled? Why is he a servant? Is he a servant that he should serve? Because us being the true people, we're not servants, y'all. Right? We're not servants. Obviously, we're serving the Father, but on an earthly tip, we're not servants, right? We're the royalty. We're the true royalty, but we have to see it at this time, right? To get right. And that's why even the light that's going to shine through us is so much greater because we've went through the completion of everything, right? This whole movie, the whole stage that the Most High has set, it's all for the completion. He's holding it. He's building up a family for himself. He's building up a group of perfect soldiers who done been through the good, they done been through the bad, and they still gonna come out on top. You feel me? Us as a people, we were royalty at one time. We were servants at one time, right? This is just for the time to be. But I'm gonna go back to the script, right? It says, but we have this treasure in earthly vessels or earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. So it's all glorifying the Father through us, man. It's all to glorify him. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna bring it to wow. We got 2nd Esdras, right? Let's go to 15. What is that? 15 and 18. All right, boom. So we talking about how bad it's about to be right now, man. Because the doctrine got to be complete. We got to talk about the glory, and we got to talk about the bad. We got to talk about the good and the bad, right? But it's still good inside of the bad for us. It's really all light from here, man. It's gonna get worse for the world, but it's not gonna get worse for us. It's gonna be hard times, man, but we're gonna shine through all this. All right. So look. Let's see. Is it 18? All right. Boom. And it says. So we got 2nd Esdras 15. Oh man, and 14. We'll go 15 and 14. And it says, "Woe to the world." Woe means danger. So it's danger coming to the world. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth near, or draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against one another, and swords in their hands. That's talking about this third woe, as it's called in the scriptures, or the Third World War, right? This war, that's this impending war. You know, that's why we got this wartime leader, this wartime president. You know, he's real good at getting the people riled up for times like this. But it just said, it's going to say that our people are laid as sleep to the slaughter, man. Everybody's being laid as sheep to the slaughter. That's why a lot of people are even coming to Babylon in these end times, man. Because America's already destroyed. Well, you got to think, why are all these people flooding into this country as if it's not already destroyed? The dollar is the weakest it's ever been. The infrastructure is the weakest it's ever been, right? But they don't even know. They're being led in the spirit as sheep to the slaughter, man. Because guess what? Babylon is going to have the worst destruction. Babylon is going to get it the worst. So, for the sword, meaning violence, and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid, right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, meaning take their goods, man. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so that's what's coming upon this world. Great tribulation, man. Whereas people who's gonna be, it's gonna be back at like the ancient times, man. Kill everybody in the house, burn it, set it on fire, take everything out the house. Remember, even in the book of Isaiah, it's saying even, it says men's wives will be ravaged and stuff like that, man. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be dark, dark times, man. Right? So it says, and shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? Even your neighbor is your brother, right? So it's gonna be a lot of backdoor. It's gonna be a lot of sliming out. You get what I'm saying? Remember, it says the love of many shall wax cold. So a friend not gonna really have mercy upon his friend no more. Nigga, I'm starving, right? People don't, what Snickers say, you're not you when you're hungry. You're gonna see how these people act when they hungry. You're gonna see how these people act when their kids are Oh man, when these people, they got kids to feed and all this type of stuff, that's also what's gonna flood people in to get the mark, right? Because remember, it's problem, reaction, solution, man. It's problem, reaction, solution. What I just read is the reaction. The lack of bread, because we know famine is gonna come. We know war is gonna come. This place is gonna be war torn. People are not gonna have the basic necessities and resources. All right? So it's gonna be a war torn place. People are not gonna have what they need, man. It's gonna be all out darkness out here. All right? And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Right? But look, that's just to show how bad it's gonna be in these times to come. Right? And I'm gonna bring it to as yup, okay. We're gonna bring it to Luke 12. And I might end it off right there. No, I'm gonna do like probably 2 more. And then we good. Alright, so we got Luke 12 and 22. And it says, and this is for us. This is for the right hand side on this time, right? This is speaking to the elect. And it says, and he said unto his disciples. It's interesting that he says, and he said unto his disciples, because remember, he even said, I pray not for the world, but for them. Right? Because the world already has their destination. The world is the broad path. The broad path is going where they're going. Damnation. All right? But he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life. What shall ye eat? Neither for the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment, right? So don't take no thought for that. And all of that, the whole lesson behind that scripture, right? The whole lesson behind that scripture is us training up ourselves in the faith, right? Because after this, it goes into the analogy of the ravens, the birds of the sky, right? The grass of the field, the lilies in the grass, right? They're not waking up thinking about, oh, damn, what am I going to eat today? Because trust me, people are going to be thinking what they're going to eat today when there's no, the grocery stores, it's been cleared out, probably set on fire, they're boarded up, right? But as for the disciples, take no thought for what you shall eat. Because like we were saying earlier in the live, the miracles are going to be beginning to show, man. Like even with Elijah, man, when he sat down in the shade and he was hoping to die for the scorching heat and all the other prophets had been killed off, right? And what did Most High do? He was using birds to feed them. He cracked open a rock for us in the wilderness to feed us with water, right? Food came out of the sky. He said, we have eaten angels' food. So that's where these miracles are going to begin to show. All right, so we got to have faith for bigger things to come. We got to be trained up in the faith, right? It says, consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse nor barn. Meaning all y'all that think, like, even in like the movie Leave the World Behind, where I forget the character's name. It was Kevin Bacon. I think his name was Danny or something like that. And he was stacking up. People thinking, oh, that's the character. Oh yeah, we got to be like Danny. But in reality, people like Danny are going to be destroyed too. All right? Because remember, see how it says neither storehouse nor barn. And God feedeth them. How much more are ye better than the fowls? All right? How much more? How much more does the Most High care about you than a bird? The whole point is that's why the Messiah always told us. He said, ye of little faith, right? There's no reason a bird should have more faith than us, man. They're not waking up thinking about what am I going to eat and how am I going to have shelter and this and that. No, no. It's that trust. That's how you build up the accounts, man. That's how you build up your account. Simply trusting in them, right? Remember, it's the Lord is delighted in those that trust in him, right? It's just like an earthly father, right? Wouldn't your earthly father, if you're under his house and his care, wouldn't he be offended if you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to eat today, Dad. You're just a child. You're like, I don't know what I'm going to eat today. I don't know what we're going to eat on a regular day. You're like, what? You don't know I got you? You know what I mean? It's damn near offensive. See what I'm saying? But I'm end it off in 1 Corinthians, man. All right, 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Where's that? All right. In 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, it says, therefore has no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. And we got to realize those non-faithful thoughts are still temptations, right? Because the spirit of doubt is not from the Most High. The spirit of fear is not from the Most High. All right, that's not how he strengthens us, man. So when the times get there, when we a little hungry, and you're like, damn, I don't know, I really don't know, man. It might be, no, that's coming from Satan, man. Remember, the Messiah was hungry when he was in the wilderness and Satan was tempting him. He was hungry. He didn't eat for 40 days. He was hungry. So those spirits, that story is literally a direct correlation of who's tempting you when you're doubting. Who's in your head when you're doubting, when you're second guessing. You got to wake up knowing you'll be provided for. And guess what? You will be provided for. Every other time you doubted in your life, like, damn, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. You might have been on your last dollar. You might have been, in just a down bad situation, right? You're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. Every time it's been doubt, but look, you're here right now. Fed, clothed, everything's cool, sheltered, right? So we got to keep that same mindset when things get shaky, right? But there has no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, for who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it, man. So those that are trusting and having faith in the Most High in these times, we gonna be good, man. And it's not gonna always look like that. That's all we're preparing ourselves for, right? When we talk about the destruction and the oncoming tribulation of the world, we're not saying that for us to be scared. We're building up ourselves so that we're faithful in these times. Remember, it says, for Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that which you are able, right? So if he's faithful, mind you, any kind of relationship, there has to be some level of reciprocation, right? So if he's faithful towards us, and he's not gonna throw something at us and there's no way out, so we gotta be faithful back. For the most, he's providing. So all we have to do is believe that he will provide, right? And our actions will show that we believe, right? On the course up there, right? Faith without works is dead. So we're always going to be showing through our works. All our works through right now is showing our faith, man.